What's up, guys? So, if you guys ever have an issue where you guys have a semi-truck tank and you end up having a hole in it, and like me, I tried ordering a tank on Amazon, and it took 2 weeks, and then the order wasn't in stock, and then they had to set it back 2 weeks. And if you don't want to spend 300 and something dollars on a brand new tank, especially if you have an older truck and it's hard for them to find the tank, if you want to weld it, that's an option. So what I did was, yes, this looks like a glumpy mess, but I'll get to that. So I took a piece of a shovel and I cut the tip of the shovel off, right, just like that, and it actually fits kind of perfectly round, as the diameter of the air tank. So what I did was I cut it off, I welded it on, and to make an airtight weld, I'm not a professional welder, so it was definitely hard. I put an air nozzle on the end here, and I put my air compressor to it, and I stuck it in a bucket of water, and there's still air bubbles coming out. But when I stick the air compressor to the nozzle and I just listen, you can't really hear anything, but the water doesn't lie. And this is going to be filled with at least up to 150 psi of pressure, so you don't want any air coming out. So what I did was, around the crevices of the weld, I took JB Weld steel stick, and this just covers up all the air gaps, and it gets right in the corners and the gaps and everything. To be honest, I used the stick weld at first, and then I took JB quick weld steel reinforced epoxy, and basically that covered up everything. So now this is just drying right now, and I have absolutely no air leaks whatsoever. And the epoxy on here says it's good up to like 2,000 3,000 psi, and up to like 400 degrees Fahrenheit, 300 degrees Fahrenheit. So it'll do the trick. And yeah, so, and the other thing is, if you have a leaky fuel tank, excuse my shitty weld, I had to regrind this down and re-weld it a few times. But I took a 3/16 inch steel plate right here, and I just welded it to, I don't know what gauge or thickness the tank is, but it was a thick weld, and it has to be watertight this time instead of airtight. So I'm just gonna do the same thing. I put a bunch of water in here, and I filled the whole gas tank up, the fuel tank up with water, and I'm getting like 1 or 2 drips every, I don't know, 10 minutes, like legitly like an eyedropper drip every 10 minutes. But I want it to be perfect, so I'm just going to seal it off and water tighten it with that epoxy, and it should be good. And I had this tank, same situation. I welded it and I put epoxy on it, or JB Weld epoxy. So yeah, guys, if you guys ever have that issue, hopefully this helps you guys out. Thanks.